Companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in the way they staff key projects and initiatives by accessing a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web development, AI, design, admin support, marketing, and more. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelance profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you can connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry low fees. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Throw in some music.
We can watch the game. Or we could keep it simple.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Now tuned into the greatest.
So when that bag come, I won't fumble. I'm just stacking on the low, but hey, I'm tired of being humble. Let me get to it. That motivation music. Get control of your life. Don't let nobody else do it. Cause when I gon' have match.
That's 550's cruising. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. And I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast. You know, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, go ahead, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. And then shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So NBA season still rolling strong, so it's not too late to go ahead and use that code and save yourself $20. And, you know, speaking of NBA season, there's a couple teams out here. Yes, they're not going to make the playoffs. I know. And I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to talk about one of them is actually going to make the playoffs, but that's later in the show. But right now, I want to kind of shed some light on them because we know the big networks is not going to do it. ESPN is not going to do it. Fox Sports is not going to do it. But it's something I think is deserving of some attention because as of right now, you know, the narrative right now is that the Chicago Bulls are so bad. Everybody knows Bulls is terrible. It's not a fun team. Why are you going to talk about the Bulls? They're not doing anything worth mentioning, but actually they are. That's what's crazy right now with the Chicago Bulls is they're playing solid basketball and nobody's going to highlight it. So I think it's necessary to shed some sort of light on what the Chicago Bulls are doing right now. They've won 8 of their last 9 games, and it hasn't been a super tough schedule. I will admit that. The schedule has been fairly easy. Not a lot of crazy talented teams that they've been playing, but ultimately beating the Lakers, who's a number 3 seed in the Western Conference or number 2 seed in the Western Conference, that definitely says something. Along this journey you get a lot of Brooklyn Nets, a lot of Indiana Pacers with no stars, some Miami Heat who've been also struggling. And, you know, you get some bad teams in this mix-up that the Chicago Bulls have been playing. But ultimately, I will say this. Despite the easy schedule, it's good basketball that we've actually been seeing on display here. And you look at the Lakers game the other day, they put up 81 points in the second half against the Los Angeles Lakers. And I know Lakers might have had a down night or whatever the fact is, but it does not matter because the Bulls is playing good basketball and they play great basketball against a top tier team in the Los Angeles Lakers. And it's brought a lot of attention to them. Now, mind you, if you looked at this game, you would think the Bulls record is different than what they played like compared to the last few months that we've been watching the Chicago Bulls. But in this matchup against the Lakers, you had the Bulls. They scored 81 at half. In the second half, Matas Buzelis, he had 31 points. Rookie, he's been balling. I think he's a great addition to the Chicago Bulls. Going to be a huge help down the line. And ultimately, as he continues to develop in his game, Coby White been on an incredible level lately. He had 36 points. And for Coby White, I say the Bulls have been playing good basketball, but this is a guy, he's been pretty much averaging 30 points all of March. So he definitely deserves some attention there. And then Josh Giddy was 2 steals away from a quadruple-double. This was just wild. So, yeah, say what you want about the Lakers taking a night off, but, I mean, a quadruple-double? Are you kidding me? Yeah, 16 points, 17 assists, 10 rebounds, 8 steals. 2 steals away. Last person to put up a quadruple-double was David Robinson. So, I know the Bulls aren't making the playoffs. They're not a team you need to be worried about when you see them on the schedule. But you got to acknowledge when a team is playing good basketball. And I think it's fair to acknowledge when a team is finally crawling out of bad play like they've been having, all throughout the course of the season. So now that they finally found a rhythm, it's something to acknowledge here. I think that's something, that is worth applauding, if you will. This is the first time in a long time you've seen the Bulls play good basketball. I mean, in this game against LA, we saw a lot of loose balls. They were jumping on loose balls. They ran circles around the Lakers. Lakers did not look like a 3rd seed team. I'm going to just be honest, bro. They didn't look good. And you had Luka healthy. You had LeBron healthy. You had a completely healthy Los Angeles Lakers team, but they ended up just catching the belt against the Chicago Bulls. And when this happened, it could have been a lucky game, but it ultimately looked like they just wanted it more. And, even if it is a lucky game, whatever, it's just a momentum type of thing. Hopefully, for the Chicago Bulls' sake, this is something to build off because all of March, they've been playing good. They've been playing pretty solid. Again, like I said, 8 wins of their last 9 games, and then they've been taking care of business. Like, you got to love that. So even though it's no playoffs, it can possibly give the Bulls some direction in where they should lean toward for the back half of the season and also going forward in the next few years with so much young talent on that team. Because in the month of March, from what I've seen from the Bulls, they look like an actual team. They look like a complete team instead of some talented individuals that just got together to play basketball. No, we actually seen guys sharing the ball and running the floor and looking like the chemistry is actually beginning to develop more and more. And that's something that's extremely important, honestly. So keep Giddy. If Giddy continues to play like he's been doing with diming up people and just controlling the game and being a hell of a facilitator, doing that at a great pace, I think they can definitely have a bright side in the future. The biggest thing with Josh Giddy is just really being able to shoot the ball. And then obviously Buzelis, he's remarkable to be so young in the league right now. I mean, this dude is definitely talented, and I think ultimately he is going to help the Bulls in the near future. But they just got to have some sort of direction of where they really, really want to go. And from that point on, that's when you might see the Chicago Bulls actually making something happen and being a threat in the Eastern Conference, I should say. And obviously it's still very, very early. But just in terms of futuristically thinking, like, come on, man, this dude got talent. He had 31 against the Lakers. Like, and go back and just look at the game. Go back and, I mean, it's still not too late. You can always check out the highlights and all of that stuff, but it's not too late. He had 31 points. I think Coby White had also a 30-piece as well. Like, this is a talented squad over here. It's been forever since we've finally been able to see them play as a unit rather than a bunch of individuals on the team. So you got to keep Giddy, you got to keep Buzelis, you got to keep Coby White. And down in the future, I think if anything, you may have to change the center position, even though we all love Vujicic. I love the way he plays, not a Bulls fan, but just love the way his game is. I wanted him on the Pistons, as a matter of fact, just because he's a solid big. But with the direction that the team is going, you may not need him at the 4. He might be a little too slow to run the floor for the Chicago Bulls team if that's what the game plan that they're going to do. Like, if you're going to run the floor and you plan on being a fast-paced team like they've looked like in the month of March, then maybe you do need to change things up. But ultimately right now, man, I'm loving what I'm seeing from them. They was playing some good ball, and I respect good ball no matter if you're a playoff team, playing team, playoff team, not a playoff team. I don't care. I respect good ball either way it goes. So me seeing a team play good basketball after they've been struggling for so long and after they've been struggling all season long, I got to give them some credit, man. I got to give them some credit. It's only fair. So I ain't going to sit here and tell you the Bulls is on the come up or they might change things around this season and make the play. Like, I ain't going to even do all of that stuff. I ain't going there. I'm going to just stick to the narrative of them not even seeing the playoffs at all. But ultimately, it's something you can consider. And right now they are at number 9, so they are technically a play-in team. But I ain't even gonna go all the way there in terms of the wishful thinking. I'm gonna leave that to the Chicago Bulls fans to get the wishful thinking in there and possibly seeing the playoffs and making something happen. But I think the core is good. The core is definitely a solid piece over there. Other than that, look, man, we got some news coming up. And in the news, we're going to just break down all the standings and stuff. Obviously, some March Madness things. March Madness has been crazy. That's what I told y'all, man. I'm not even going to be bothered with trying to give y'all a full March Madness breakdown because production just takes too long. Quite honestly, it just takes too long. Unless you're going to get up here, shoot me a call, and, you're going to get the editing and all of that, help out on the team, then sure. But until then, nah, man, we not gonna cover all of March Madness. We'll probably cover the final 4 games and stuff like that as we get closer to less teams. But starting off with that 64 round, hell nah, not doing that. Anyway, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. If you heard something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, we'll play your take back on the next episode. Give it some context. Let your voice be heard. But we got some news for the run coming up in just a sec, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. It's halftime.
Companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in the way they staff key projects and initiatives by accessing a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web development, AI, design, admin support, marketing, and more. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelance profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you can connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry low fees. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com.
So much of what we want to do can seem impossible, but the highest achievers among us are the people still reaching for something, the ones who aren't satisfied to stay where they are and want to keep climbing higher. It's those people who approach the impossible and embrace it. There's a vehicle for people like that. It's called the Defender. The Defender is an icon, reimagined through thoroughly modern design. It's got a tough, rigid body design and durable, lightweight monocoque architecture for extra strength. With precise detailing and compelling proportions, the exterior of the Defender is designed with integrity. This is a vehicle capable of great things, engineered to meet challenges head-on with an exterior that's been tested to the extreme. Experience the Defender's legendary capability off-road and on. And there's a family of vehicles for Defender. Meet the Defender 90, Defender 110, and the 8-seat Defender 130. So, are you ready to embrace the impossible? Explore the Defender at LandRoverUSA.com.
All right, man, so let's get into it. We got some news for the run here. Let's start off with the NBA. Some things that's been going on. You got a lot of different teams in the league that have clinched a playoff spot and trying to clinch a playoff spot. Most guys are mostly resting right now, so we're seeing a lot of people sit out in the NBA as far as an update on who's doing what and what team is actually making a deep run as of right now. Pretty much nobody. Standings still look the same as before. Cavs at number 1 in the Eastern Conference, Celtics at number 2, Knicks at number 3, Pacers number 4, Milwaukee Bucks at number 5, Detroit Pistons at 6, and then the rest of that is just the play-in teams. You got the Atlanta Hawks, Magic, Chicago Bulls, and then Miami Heat as well. So, I mean, not much has changed over there. However, in the Western Conference, you do got a lot of competition heating up. You got some definitely some steady competition. This standings might look a little bit different come next few weeks, actually, because OKC, they clinched the number 1 seed so far, or clinched the playoff seed, I should say. Houston Rockets are at number 2, but they're only 1 game apart from the Denver Nuggets, who are at number 3 right now, and then also at number 4, Los Angeles Lakers, 2 games apart from the Houston Rockets. 43 wins. Memphis Grizzlies at 5. Golden State Warriors at number 6. They're no longer a play-in team. Then for the play-in, you got the Wolves, Clippers, Kings, and then the Phoenix Suns. So yeah, man, nobody's really been doing anything where it's out of the ordinary. Seeing a lot of different teams. There is a team I want to focus on, the Houston Rockets, which I'll explain in just a second. But it's March Madness, so let's go ahead and bring up some March Madness stuff of what's going on there. As far as my bracket, I think I already mentioned it to you guys that I had Auburn going all the way and winning. As of right now, Auburn is still in the running for, a championship, NCAA, but it's going to be tough, man. Obviously, there's a lot of good teams out here, but right now we're kind of in this Sweet 16 round. So for the Sweet 16, I'm going to just go ahead and give a breakdown. You got Auburn versus Michigan. That game is going to be happening on the 28th. You got Ole Miss versus Michigan State. Ole Miss versus Michigan State. That's going to be happening on the 28th as well. We got a couple days off from March Madness, so it gets a little weird. But anyway, Florida versus Maryland is happening. Another Big Ten score. Texas Tech versus Arkansas. And then on the other side of the bracket, Kentucky versus Tennessee, which is going to be a great matchup. I didn't think Kentucky was going to make it. Houston versus Purdue. BYU versus Alabama. You got Duke versus Arizona. And then the winner of these matchups go to the Elite Eight. So it's going to be crazy, man. I got Auburn going on. I think I have them beating, who was it? I don't have my bracket pulled up, but I do have them eventually beating Michigan State. Michigan State is a great ball club over there, man. They've been balling as well. So not shocked if Michigan State does make something happen and end up advancing. Because they've been playing solid as well. But going back to the NBA, man, because, one of these teams that I really wanted to shed light on over in the Western Conference, they're ranked right now, and they're doing their thing, actually, in the Western Conference. The Houston Rockets, man, this team has been balling, and they've actually been on a tear. And, I think the Houston Rockets are a team that can really, really go toe-to-toe with anybody in the Western Conference. So there's some things I want to give them a little bit of praise and a little bit of glory of how great of a job they've done, but there's also some things that concern me a little bit. So right now, Houston, they're doing their thing, 46 wins, 26 losses, and they're first in their division, and also to ultimately they're, I think, number 3, I just said. So in the Western Conference, number 2 in the Western Conference. So this team, man, they've been balling. I want to give them applaud, and I want to give them credit right off the bat. They play good basketball. They play tough. They're fresh off a 9-game win streak. They've won 11 of their last 15 games, and they're successfully the number 2 seed. They're going to clinch a playoff spot in just a second. Rockets are obviously a dangerous team, plenty of talent, extremely tough. They're defensive. I love watching them because they are defensive, and they're tough to watch. They're scrappy. It's like anything you could wish for in your basketball team in terms of establishing an identity. You would kind of want to be like the Houston Rockets. You might not be the most talented or the most experienced, but you definitely have a tough team who doesn't back down from anybody with plenty of talent, who can go toe-to-toe with anybody. However, the only thing about the Houston Rockets that does concern me is the fact that this team cannot shoot. This team can't score. And going into the playoffs, potentially having a matchup against the Warriors or potentially even having a matchup against the Grizzlies, whoever you play, you got to be able to score in the Western Conference because it gets like that in the West. Everybody is fast-paced. Everybody can shoot. Everybody can score in the Western Conference. But the Houston Rockets being the team who has the second worst three-point percentage in the NBA, the second worst field goal percentage NBA, it concerns me, regardless of how great of defense they play, you got to be able to score the ball if you want to win in the playoffs. And for the Houston Rockets, they have not shown me that they can score with the best of the best in the Western Conference right now. So I'm looking at all of this, and I'm like, yeah, aside from the defense, they need guys who can shoot. Rockets got to score efficiently if they want to get out of the first round, because right now it looks like that's going to be the cap for the Houston Rockets of, how far can they really go? How far can they go in the playoffs down the line is the first round. If they don't get shooters or if guys on this team don't learn how to shoot, then they won't see past the first round. Now, they can win a couple games. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy breezy series if you play against the Houston Rockets. Absolutely not. If you play the Rockets, you definitely going to get beat up. You're going to have to be physical. You're going to get a run for your money for sure. It's that simple. But ultimately, I don't think the Rockets beat any of these experienced teams in the Western Conference right now, because defense does win championships. Yes, it does. But we've seen great offenses contest that same narrative of how great a defense is. You'll ever see somebody named Steph Curry? I mean, this is a dude. He's proved that on multiple occasions. Y'all ever see somebody named Kobe, LeBron? I mean, they proved this on multiple occasions. Regardless of how great a defense is played, great offenses can tear up a defense and put points on the board. And ultimately, you just got to be able to do that in the Western Conference of being able to score. So, like, going back to this game against the Denver Nuggets here. So this is what makes me bring this to attention. They just recently lost to the Denver Nuggets, and they lost 116 to 111. And it was a great game. Great game. Tremendous game from the Houston Rockets and Denver Nuggets. Really, Rockets probably would have won this game, but the Denver Nuggets continued to score more than them. Jamal Murray lit up the scoreboard. Jamal Murray had himself a field game. I believe he finished with 40 points. Jokic didn't even play in this game against the Houston Rockets, but yet they still won. They were still able to outscore the Rockets. And this is just a prime example of what I'm talking about of, yes, the Rockets are good. They can hang with any team. They can play good defense. They're physical. All of this stuff. They rebound. All of the great things that they do. The one thing they don't do well is shoot the ball. And they can't rely on defense to solely win them the game when they're not scoring at a rapid pace to keep up with teams in the Western Conference. So let's go ahead and look at the score sheet because, let's look at the numbers from the Denver Nuggets. So you had Jamal Murray was pretty much the main one on the Denver Nuggets who was lighting up the scoreboard. He had 39 points. It was the Jamal Murray show. Honestly, he looks like he's ready for the playoffs. Jamal Murray looked like he's in rare form already. I mean, just based off of what I seen the other night against the Houston Rockets, it looks like it's evident that, hey, he's ready to ball out in the playoffs. So if you go back and look at that, that's what you'll see. Jamal Murray going off. But for the Rockets, you had Jalen Green. He had a 30-piece, which is obviously dope. And Dylan Brooks had 20. And, the numbers are spread out. Sengun had 17. So you see these spread out numbers, but ultimately Jalen Green 3 for 12 from the 3-point line. You can't have that, bro. You can't have that if you're trying to, succeed in the playoffs. If you're trying to succeed in the playoffs, and obviously this is one game, so I don't want to make the whole narrative around this one game. But if you look at the Rockets and the way that they play, this is a thing that's just happening on a nightly basis. They're not a good shooting team. They play great. They play good defense, all of that stuff, but they're just not a good shooting team. And above all, if the Rockets want to advance further in the playoffs and if they want to become a serious threat in the West and beat teams in the playoffs, they're going to have to learn how to shoot. Get a new shooting coach, something's going to have to give, whether they bring a shooter over there or whatever the case is, but they're going to need shooters on the floor to make these threes and just have a better field goal percentage, ultimately. So other than that, man, Rockets, I still wish them the best of luck. I think they'll ball out rest of the season, probably finish out number 2 seed, but they're going to cause problems in the playoffs no matter what. Rockets are going to cause problems. This is an elite team. They're dangerous, and they will cause problems. I just don't know if they'll actually beat anybody in a 7-game series. That's where it's going to come down to. Other than that, man, look, hey, shoot us a call. Let me hear what you think. 219-413-9405. And of course, I'll play your take back on the next episode. If the Rockets your team, you feel a way about the Rockets and what they've been doing, let me know. And of course, I'll play it back. But other than that, man, look, that's all I got for y'all today. I appreciate you for kicking it with me, hanging with me. Send this to a cousin, a brother, an aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, coworker, friend, family member. I promise you they ain't gonna mind. And I'm gonna just leave you on a positive note here. And for the positive note, I'm gonna just go off the top of the dome. Let's see. We'll do, we'll keep it nice and simple. I don't want to even go too crazy or off the rails, man. I was just say be patient and try and make sure you're patient in the things you do, because when you're not patient, you become a little petty. You start trying to rush things. You start trying to rush your process and skip out on things. So just be patient in the grind that you're in, and it'll all work out. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's all I got for y'all. So appreciate you for tuning in. We'll be back later on this week, and so on and so on and so on.
Last year, Americans ate 32 billion chicken wings. Who knows just how many helpless sides of celery were heartlessly thrown away? But this year, celery neglect can stop with you and irresistible Jif peanut butter. Because you can make a snack to make a difference. You can buy a jar of Jif to save the celery. So please, don't let celery be decoration for wings. Tap the banner to save the celery.
Here in America, work is in trouble. We've offshored our manufacturing, sent away good jobs, and lost so much ability to make things. American Giant is a company that's pushing back against this tide. They make high-quality clothing, sweatshirts, jeans, dresses, jackets, and so much more, right here in the USA. Visit American-Giant.com and get 20% off your first order when you use code STAPLE20 at checkout. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com, promo code STAPLE20.